Welcome to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go, a look at modern and retro games with a dark sense of humor. Introducing your hosts, Steve.
Well, I'm a wreck now.
Harry.
Put it in my mouth.
Clark.
That man had one testicle and hit home runs, goddammit.
And Joe.
This went off the rails very quickly.
Let's start the show.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast. Go! I gave you so much prep time.
Yeah, and then I realized that my mic was off.
We've just been talking to it for like 5 minutes.
Whatever.
Anyways.
Here's my wang. Eat
Welcome to Mupper. Oh,
Welcome
wait.
to fuck.
Ah, fuck.
Fick.
That's a classic.
It is.
All right, tonight we're going to be doing another great game review.
Hey, thanks.
Maybe not great for all. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth.
Oh, wait, you're saying the game is great?
The review will be great.
Yeah,
The
okay.
game is reviewed at the end, of course, obviously.
Okay, so it is a self-tug that we're going for.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
I am all about that
Aggressively
self-tug.
bleeding.
Yes. Should it be purple?
I'm going to be sore tomorrow.
Yep, a lot of scabs. Anyways.
Today I learned Joe masturbates dry.
There once was a time.
I call that time the present.
Christmas is just around the corner.
Christmas is just around the corner.
Fuck it. And you should probably stop by deepcreekglassworks.com.
Yes, holy shit, you should. Because did you know that if you wanted some handcrafted, durable pieces of art, you can go to deepcreekglassworks.com, work spelled W-O-R-X. They have ornaments, pendants, glasses. Just go check out the websites, because if you haven't by this point, you've been listening for a while, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm going to go to his webpage and just try and order a crush-resistant box.
They got just a box?
Just
A
the box.
A box in a box.
A box and a box. A box
He
and a box.
charges $75 for shipping for that.
I'm like, I want one unfolded crush-resistant box inside of a folded crush-resistant box.
That's going to be a big
Figure
box.
it out, Tanner.
He just throws a bunch of stamps on it. Hope this gets there.
Stamp, 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 stamp. And if you're within the southeast to central PA region, you can go check out the website to see where they're going to be for vendor shows, because that time is upon us. And you might actually, well, you would meet Tanner, but you could also meet me if he asks for help.
Don't do it.
Okay. Are you telling them to don't go, or telling me not to help?
Go see Tanner and not Steve.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I would say go see Tanner. Don't worry about me.
Steve will aggressively hug you.
I will. Although, yeah, I was going to say I charge $1 for that, but no, I'll just hug you anyway. Yeah.
Works
So,
is spelled W-O-R-X.
Instagram, Etsy, Facebook, the direct site that we told you 3 times already. Go visit them and get yourself some glass today. Oh, online orders. Use our promo code SUPERFUN and get 10% off of your first purchase. Crush resistant boxes.
Free shipping.
Free shipping.
Nailed it.
All
All right, so if you didn't hear during the ad for Deep Creek Glassworks, I have with me today Mr. Clark.
That's it. I'm done. There is no plan, just random chaos.
Across from me, I have Steve.
Shut the Fair point.
Across from me, I also have Harry.
May the law have mercy on you. I won't.
It's so aggressive.
He is aggressive, and I love it.
And my name is Joe. Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle as their favorite song.
Fucking bored.
So I guarantee you probably didn't figure out what we're playing or reviewing. We will be reviewing The Outer Worlds.
Which is different than Joe's inner world, which is his anus. Which I've explored
Scouts.
thoroughly. Scabbing. some rocky terrain in there.
And don't even get me started on the Raiders.
That's what we call the hemorrhoids.
There's a lot of bandits, quote unquote, in there.
I just call them sand people.
Move it along.
I'm the poop bandit.
It's fucking Tuscan Raiders, you son of a bitch.
I don't know how I'm so scared and aroused at the same time.
Hey, Tuscan Raiders are also in space. Harry,
It's
initial
just
impressions.
a fear boner growing in your pants. Fear boner.
Initial impressions. Very early on in this game. Well, okay, so initial. Never heard of this fucking game before.
Yeah, there you go. But you got the memo.
But I did get a vibe of what the hell is that? Fallout. Very
Okay, yep.
early on.
Yeah.
and a cross between like there was something else. I was like, this is a
No Man's
perfect.
Sky.
No.
There's a little bit of No Man's Sky in this as well.
Okay.
With it being kind of like the space setting.
Yeah. So yeah, never heard of the game before.
There you go.
Never heard of it. Fallout. Bye.
Yep. Yeah.
That was Harry's TLDR. Go ahead, Steve. Initial impressions.
Yeah, not
Oh,
too.
Mass Effect. That was the other one. I was Fallout
Okay.
Mass Effect.
Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of Mass Effect in there, too.
All right, I
can
can
see
see that. Yeah, in the same boat. Never heard of the game before this, and when I asked Joe, he's like, "Think Fallout 3, but outer space." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, will I get this done?" And that is a story.
Clark?
I feel like I say this over and over again, but I actually had this game when it came out. I bought it like day one. I was super excited for it. It had been on my radar because I really loved Fallout New Vegas. I was somebody that stuck around through the very shaky beginning of that, and Obsidian, the company that made Fallout New Vegas, actually ended up making this game. Right? It was Obsidian.
Yeah.
So I was like really excited for it to come out. I probably put a good 15 hours into it when it first came out. Never beat it. Was just doing like side missions and stuff. I didn't realize until, this playthrough that I had only made it about a third of the way through and had sunk 15 hours into it already. Yeah. So, I was really excited and really impressed with it and had a lot of fun with it right when it came out.
Dig it, Mr.
Nice.
Joe.
So I didn't hear about this game when it came out. I received this game as a pack-in with one of my graphics cards. And that's how I got it. Well, it was like, you get to pick one of two games, and it was this or Borderlands 3. And Borderlands 3 makes me really motion sickness. So I was like, nah, let's not go Borderlands.
Yeah.
So I went with this. I played maybe 5 hours of it when it came out and didn't pick it back up until the podcast. But it had always kind of intrigued me. Like, those first couple hours, like, I never forgot about it. It wasn't, like, quite enough to just be like, no, just, like, fuck whatever else you're playing and just get through this.
Right.
But it just never left my head.
So it's been like, maybe I should go back and check that out more.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I want to say right off the top, like before we get into story or anything like this, and I don't know if you had the same experience, Joe. I don't know how much time you put into the second, your like when you played it for the podcast. Did you pick up your save or did you start a new one?
I started a new one.
Okay, I did the same. I started a new game and I realized that this game can be relatively shallow if you're just trying to get it done. Mm-hmm. And it is incredibly deep if you go looking for stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun shit in this game that you can just easily breeze by. And I like remembered it like as I was like playing through this time because I was like kind of focused on like, okay, I want to get this done. Everyone in my house at the time had COVID and I had to take a couple days off of work to take care of my son, while also having COVID myself.
Yeah.
So I was just like playing this while he like had a fever and was like, I was trying to just like break his fever and he was like sleeping and stuff. And I'm sitting there with my fever, like playing this in like a weird fugue state. But, yeah.
Dad,
like,
I need soup. I gotta kill the raider.
No.
Gotta kill him.
No.
Eat your clam chowder later. That's a terrible sick soup.
Yeah, that's a terrible sick soup.
How viscous of a soup can I have?
For a 7-year-old with 103 fever. Jesus Christ. I couldn't imagine. One, I know for a fact my son would not eat that. Two, I feel like it would immediately come back up.
I mean, it's basically Epicac.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out off the top because I'm going to be kind of sharing from both experiences.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, let's land our ship on somebody else and move into game development.
Game development.
All right. So The Outer Worlds. This was released on PC, Xbox One, and PS4 simultaneously in October 2019 by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Take-Two. Mm-hmm. In the first 4 months after its release, it had sold 2.5 million copies.
Impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad for like a middle tier game because I think even brand new, I think it was only $40. I don't think it was a full priced game.
I don't remember. Again, I got it for free. So
Yeah.
So, ironically, Microsoft had bought Obsidian during the development of this game, but Take-Two had already secured publishing rights, so Microsoft wasn't actually allowed to publish it.
Oh.
And ironically, it was an Epic Game Store exclusive for a while on top of that, too.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
How Take-Two was like, not only are we going to publish it,
God, I forgot the Epic Game Store was like a thing.
that's how I have it. I have it through Epic.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I was a free code. Like I
Does
didn't
it
get to choose where I redeemed it.
Does it still work?
Yeah.
Does the Epic Game Store still like active and
totally.
stuff?
It's not good.
Yeah, no.
But it's
no.
there.
Yeah, right.
Well, like I remember too, like
It's fucking Little Caesars.
Yeah, it's a little off topic, but like didn't Discord have a game hub where you could buy stuff? Yeah, because
they wanted to.
Well, they had that game Nightmare that was out on it. I played the beta for it, and I had to launch it through Discord.
That's nuts.
Like they had a Discord game launcher, but I think they discontinued it. Like I don't even think anything actually ever came out on it.
That's nuts. So a little more about the development of this game. There's going to be a lot of kind of references to things that have already come up already in conversation.
All right.
So the game was directed by Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyarsky. Tim being known for producing Fallout and writing the main story arc of Fallout 2. Leonard being known for the art director in Fallout and Fallout 2, as well as Diablo 3.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ironically, I was doing the research for this game and I saw Leonard's name and I was like, this motherfucker, like, I knew his last name because there's an item named after him in Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, motherfucker, that's crazy.
Yeah. Check that out.
And
That's neat.
The weird part is like, I then looked up the item to see if there was like on Wiki or, on the Diablo Wiki or anything like that, if there was like this is named after him. And like, I couldn't find anything, which I thought was weird. So you're going to see a lot of this, and your guys are probably going to be like, oh, yeah, I can see that. So when they were developing this game, they took a lot of the inspiration from Outer Worlds, from obviously Fallout in their previous history, but also Firefly, Futurama, Deadwood, and True Grit.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
And Tim and Leonard wanted to pair up for this game to like get through it because like they have very different personalities. Tim was like, no, like he wanted to write something very humorous and stuff like that. And then Leonard was like, but we can also like make it very weird and morbid as well.
Oh yeah.
And like, I think it kind of makes the game very interesting. Like because it can go like so many
different ways.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Technically, there's 3 endings, but yes, it's not so much about the endings with this game. It's kind of like the journey to get there.
Yeah, totally.
So that's yeah. They go some weird places.
See the Futurama with Auntie Cleo being like mom
Yeah.
from Futurama. It's like just looking at it, it's like she looks kind of familiar. It's like okay, I get it.
But yeah, that's kind of all I had for game development. Not the oldest game, 2019. Kind of a late PS4 title, just to give you an idea of kind of where we're talking about when we get to other segments of the game.
Yeah.
Discord game launcher ended in February of 2020.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Okay. It was launched.
I had to look it up because I was like, I'm not crazy, am I? I know it launched games at one point.
That's funny.
And then it stopped.
I think it lasted for 6 months.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Still longer than CNN's app.
Oh,
I don't even what.
All right. Well, let's pick a few companions and journey on into the story.
Story.
I'm going to give a synopsis about the game. It doesn't go a whole lot about into the game, but you kind of get where I'm going with this once I get through it here. So the game is set in an alternate future that diverged in 1901 when U.S. President William McKinley was not assassinated. As a result, Theodore Roosevelt never succeeded him and never broke up megacorporations, which have become to colonize space and terraform alien planets.
I think Teddy failed.
Well, that's what the whole point. He never got to.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I see what you're saying.
No, I'm just
No.
saying. Even in the real world, we're heading towards the outer
We're just
world.
a 100-year cycle.
yeah. It came back. He tried.
Yeah.
Fucking Amazon and Facebook.
Yeah. Fucking Fang. Hundreds of Earth residents, lured by the promise of a fresh start, signed up for a chance to travel to this new frontier. In 2285, 2 colony ships were dispatched to colonize Halcyon, a 6-planet star system. The Hope and its cargo mysteriously disappeared in transit, slipping into myth among the citizens of Halcyon. 70 years later, the Hope is discovered drifting in the outskirts of the star system by a mad scientist named Phineas, who safely revives you. Due to the effects of prolonged cryosleep, you have substantially higher mental and physical abilities, including the ability to briefly slow time. Wells tasks the stranger with securing resources needed to revive the remaining Hope colonists. So that's kind of the premise of the game, and you can kind of see where it ends up to, or the direction it goes anyway.
I love when he's explaining, when like Phineas is explaining that to you.
Yeah.
And he's just like, so, you have all of this stuff, and there's like the weird time dilation thing. He's like, and I'm just gonna like kind of like lock those stats in for you. This might kill you, and just like just like, here you go.
Like, wait for it.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're either going to be fine, or you're going to liquefy out of every pore of your body. Here you go.
I call that Thursday night.
So as Clark stated, there's like, the story is pretty much what I was saying, right? It's Phineas kind of directing you through the game, or kind of being like, this is the end goal and what I want you to do, right? Because it's really, that's what Phineas wants, not necessarily what you end up doing. And it's really, like you said, this game is about kind of the journey and what you experience and the stories that you make along the way, and less about the ending. Because there's a lot that can happen and kind of change a lot of how your gameplay goes,
Right.
but not necessarily have a huge impact on the end, the final ending.
Yeah, because there's a set of decisions that you make that kind of
Right. Like,
pick
you can
the
literally
ending.
save like 15 minutes before the end and then get at least 2 of the endings.
You can get 2 of the endings that way. The other one is a decision that you have to make like way earlier.
You
but-
basically have to start the game and then go for it.
Gotcha.
So if we want, I can kind of go through the couple of endings. I think they're probably pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So the one is you obviously save all of the people on Hope
Correct.
to, revitalize Halcyon and things like that. And they kind of,
The colony.
bring new visual perspective to the colony and kind of it helps
Yeah,
break
because
up all the
it's supposed to
megacorporations
be
and stuff.
like humanity's like scientists and things like that, like people that aren't necessarily like corporate goons.
Right.
It's people that can actually like rebuild a world.
Scientists, engineers,
Yeah,
and like
engineers and
the top minds.
Techies and and
exactly.
all that stuff.
Right.
The other one is you don't save them, essentially. Like, you kind of send them to purgatory, essentially,
Oh?
where like you take the ship somewhere and then like the board takes them and like they're just like, oh, you're not getting revived anymore, suckers.
Yeah, the board does what they want to do
Yeah.
with them. Yeah.
And then the other ending, you have to basically not spec into intelligence at all during the entire game.
Oh?
And then when you are at like the last thing where you're like, where are you sending Hope, like the ship to?
Yeah.
Where you pick like the Tartarus or Terra 2, which is the planet.
Yeah.
you pick that you're gonna go to Terra 2 or the other Tartarus.
Yeah, you're like, I
You
got
can
this.
pick, but then you're like, when like the computer of the ship is like, okay, I'll do it, and then like you can interrupt
Yeah.
and be like, no, I'll do it by hand.
Yeah.
And then you fuck it up and you shoot the ship right into the sun.
Right in his-
Yeah,
And
So it's what-
the best part about that ending,
that's the crash ending, I believe.
yes, some people call it the sunburn.
Yeah.
Some people call it the joke ending. But like the best part about that one is like the other two endings, like you kind of like that, like as soon as you kind of launch the ship, it's the end of the game.
Right.
And then like you move into like a kind of, they do it in a lot of movies where it's like a still frame with a narrator kind of being like, this is what's happened.
Yeah.
Right, Ever? So that happens on the main two endings. The joke one, it's literally just boom credits as soon as you hit the sun.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
just
That's
it's
amazing.
literally just one thing that says the end credits.
So before
They don't tell you anything else that happens. with
That's
the story
great.
or
It's just
anything.
like, nope,
that
you're
is
just, you're
that
dead.
is amazing.
That's it. I'm going to have to watch that one later.
So, did anyone side with the corporations?
I
No.
did not.
I did not either.
Yeah.
Oh, the first. Yeah, I shut the power off to the.
The botanist or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Well,
I'm talking about at the end. There's
There's a lot of places you can kind of sort pick corporations that you
Yeah,
want
see,
to
Yeah,
I'm
you
more
can-
curious because Harry was
My
saying when we were talking about it.
ending
Yeah,
got a little vague.
yeah, and I just, it's
you-
like, I'm wondering, should we do that now in story or do we want to save that for gameplay?
I think
story.
I think we should talk about the endings and then talk about our individual like journeys through the game.
okay.
okay with that.
All right. I'll get mine easy out of the way. I supported Phineas Wells and like the colonies over the corporations. So it was funny when you were talking about the when you asked Ada, it's like when you're interacting, she's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, we're ready for jump," and it's like, "Okay, go ahead," or it's like, "I'll do it myself," and
Yeah.
like, I have a feeling I might fuck this up, so I'm gonna let her do it. She's been
Yeah.
pretty on point. So,
It doesn't make you do any puzzle or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's
No.
literally just based on your intelligence.
oh really? Okay. I mean, my intelligence wasn't too bad by that point. I feel I was pretty well versed for the most part, except I did have to go back and I changed my skills.
Respect at some point.
Yeah, and right before going to the prison planet.
Okay.
Because I wanted to go at it a different way. Because my first one was go in like fucking guns a-blazing. That did not work out so well. So I'm like, you know what? I'm already pretty high in my dialogue, and I've seen where that went, and I saw some options for that. So let me try doing that. So pretty much like the final portion of the game, I talked my way through for the most part.
Saving Phineas.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a way that you can actually turn on Phineas in the game as well. That's
you
one
can,
of
like turn him in and stuff.
yeah.
That's working for the corporation.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
the-
explaining
that's
my
the-
ending,
that's the-
rather than the other.
Yeah.
Because it's like where either like you're supporting Phineas or you're supporting Halcyon and the corporations
Right.
and whatnot. And the way I was playing was more fuck the corporation. I would rather bring them down, but you can still like talk your way through like all of it up until you meet I think her name's like Sophia
the executive
or something. Yeah, like the top. And you basically tell her it's like, you need to fucking go or I'm going to kill you. And you've seen what I've done before. So don't doubt me. And she's like, all right, I'm out. And then that was,
see, I went the like same ending, complete opposite way. I was just like, I'm going to murder anyone that gets in my way.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Nice.
there's the one guy that asks you to like, hey, I need you to talk to the two warring companies and figure out like
The guy in the Devil's Peak radio or the Devil's Peak Tower.
Yeah.
This is where my turn happens.
Okay.
So there's like the two like factions.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I went to the one place, like the headquarters of the one, and the guy was just like, I don't know if we're gonna help you. And I was like, fine, fuck you. And I murdered
Was that the
entire.
one that like looked like more like a regular town in the game? Or
Yeah.
the one that looked kind of like
There was Stellar Bay and I was going to call it Amber's Herd, but
not.
it was kind of shitty looking in there. But
No, I'm not talking about the water purification thing.
No. I'm talking later too. No, it's Stellar Bay is the one with Sanjay as the leader.
Yeah, Sanjay.
Yeah, and then
Sanjay's
the other
the guy,
one,
yeah.
like Amber's something was with Graham, the leader, and then like his sidekick, which I ended up killing Graham. You can put the chick in charge, and
I killed them all.
oh, okay.
I literally killed all of them.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, fuck
Oh.
it. It'll just make it easier if I just eliminate one of the things. I was like, I don't want to do your bullshitty side quests. I'm trying to just like move right along. So I murdered all of them.
There you go.
Collected the armor and weapons and stuff. And Graham has a cool weapon.
I brokered peace between the two colonies. Yeah, they worked in conjunction with each other. But that was also super high dialogue that got me through that one.
Yeah.
So, curious, Harry.
Well, so I'll give you the backstory of how it got to my decision making. But so I didn't want to spend a ton of time on this game, knowing that we had another huge game to attend to. So I got through the first couple missions. And they were all like hour and a half each. I was like, that's fine. And I think it was about like the fourth mission. It was like the third or fourth when you start doing the radio tower thing. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, but first go do this. So I go do that. And I'm like, oh, and then go do this. And then I was like, how many fetch quests before I can actually complete this quest? And it started nearing like 4.5 hours on this single mission, like storyline mission.
Yeah,
I was
Harry
like, this is
sees
getting
red.
absurd. And I remember seeing the dialogue options where it's like, say yes, or tell them to do this, or negotiate, or kill everybody.
Oh, attack, where it has in the brackets attack. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's just try this out. So I went into attack, and I was like, and it just like almost instantly ended the story quest. And I was like, well, if that's how to speed up the pace of the game, well, we're going to try this a little bit more often.
I'm just going to try to kill everybody.
Now, let me tell you, when I got to the Capitol, there was that one like stealth mission where you can like sneak into the house.
They're like, oh yeah, you can like go in and you can just like grab the files from the dude's computer. I walked right in. The first security guard that was standing there was like, boom, shotgun, boom, ray gun.
Well,
I
here's
just started
the
blowing everybody
awesome
away.
thing. Once you grab aggro, like the entire map starts coming at you. How quickly I was raising my level at this point, just from like just
it's
mass
absurd.
genocide, was crazy.
Yeah.
The levels were just like it was like minutes per level as opposed to like a half hour or 45 minutes doing all these little fucking stupid ass side quests. I was like the experience per hour is just amazing when you're aggressive.
Yeah.
So that ended up being that. And I remember looking at like a guide online just to see how like my progress was going. I was like, 13 story missions. I ended up doing like 6 and it rolled credits. So I don't know if I killed enough people that it just started like chopping out sections of the game, but I completed like 6 story missions and then it was like credits.
What was the actual ending you got then?
They kidnapped
Phineas.
Phineas.
They took him to the prison planet.
And I ran up into like the TV station, and like the one guy was like, "Oh, we can negotiate."
The chairman,
And you were
and
like,
I blasted him.
Yeah.
And then I walked in the other room, and it was just like a single shot, and I killed the chick.
The lady, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly, dude. I did the same thing. Like, basically, that's what I did. I skipped a bunch of missions by just starting to murder people, and it just kind of like gets you there.
Now, what really set me like? Because I don't usually play games like this. Like, it's just not my style.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Welcome to the dark side, Harry. Everyone always gives me shit for playing Renegade. It's so much fun.
But like story related, what set me off so much is everybody was so loaded with dialogue. It wasn't just a quick blurb or anything. It was just sentence after sentence after sentence.
I don't like to read.
And it started to like really grind on me a
I have
bit.
a question. Is this actually your first like Fallout style game?
We did Fallout 3 for the podcast.
Oh, right.
Is this your
So-
second Fallout style game?
Yeah, Fallout's not as wordy though.
No, it
There was
really-
not as many NPCs in that game. It was like a vast
Yeah,
world.
like I feel like every NPC that has more than, if you can walk up to them and hit the talk button and dialogue comes up, you're like, fuck, this guy's giving me a side quest.
Yeah.
You're like,
Son of a bitch.
This is gonna be an hour-long thing.
Yeah.
And I
This
didn't
is
want to
gonna be a
like
whole
skip
deal.
through the dialogue because that's part of like the audio content that we have to like grade.
right.
You know what I mean? But it was just like it was really grating on me just how much everybody had to fucking say. And it's like it stop. Just give me the bullet points.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that you like
And then you started giving them the bullet
bullets.
points.
fair enough.
Harry,
Yeah.
if there was just like literally like a recorder in here while Harry's playing the game, it's like a bunch of talking for a few hours and then just a lot of shooting.
with the fuck this in the middle between.
Yeah, fuck this.
All right.
So yeah, I probably cut off some story missions, right? Like I shouldn't have hit just 6 and had credits.
Well, I
right?
mean, it went
So-
relatively quick, like with some things. Like, did you like
Yeah, some
you?
of them are real quick.
Yeah. So I mean,
was the radio the big slog of the game?
Yes,
Like, that portion.
That's the biggest part.
That
That's why
felt
That
like
was
it
like
kept
in the beginning,
going.
right?
it's like middle-ish. I think it's like the third or fourth mission.
And it kept like changing the priorities.
Yes.
Like it
Yeah.
wouldn't. I had to always switch it back to the main quest because it would be like, oh, I'm just gonna sneak in a little fetch quest, but like the cursor in the menu would switch.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah, sorry,
yeah,
I know
yeah.
We'll
it's
get to that
half
gameplay.
story, half gameplay.
but at least with like the main missions, it's like it takes a while to get up to like number 4, maybe number 5, and then after that you can just
They just fly.
you can go through because that's I was super worried because it wasn't long ago, call it a day or two, where I was like, fuck, I am not going to get this game done. I thought I put more time into this, and then I looked at the list and I'm like, I'm only 4 missions out of like 13 where I need to be.
yeah, so okay,
And
you
then-
saw that list too. It was like
yeah, I
13
saw that. It was
missions.
daunting. And then after that, it took like 2.5 to 3 hours to go through all of the rest of them. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I was actually further along than I thought I was without being like
Yeah.
further along. So
There were definitely missions that it like cut out, like because I played sort of renegade-ish,
yeah,
like because I had one quest where it was just like I was like, it was one of the earlier ones, and I was just like, this is getting annoying as fuck, and I was like,
right.
all right, save, and I was just like fucking blasted them because it was like a thing you needed to buy, and I was like, yeah, I'm tired of like trying to find side quests to go and buy this shit.
Right. I'm
So
just
I was
going
like-
to take it.
So I was like, I'm just gonna fucking kill him and see what happens.
There you go. So you also did where it was like you supported the colony or like Phineas and whatnot.
Yeah,
like your
yeah,
ending.
yeah. So I supported Phineas as my ending.
Same.
But yeah, I was just like, all right, fuck it. Let me just kill this person. And then it was like, literally, like I did get to one mission, and like I did see it in the journal or whatever. Or it was like you've killed someone that involves this quest. You can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so that was definitely a thing, which honestly I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it actually impacted later in the game is kind of when I noticed it, because it was like the first person I killed that I like figured this out on, because it was like, boom, I just killed them. I got a key. I opened their thing, and I got the items I needed. And I was like, cool, I'm bouncing, going to the next story quest
Yeah.
now, because I don't need to fucking farm all this money.
Right.
And then it was literally like 20 hours of gameplay later, I had to go back, and it was like, go back and talk to blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
He's dead.
They're
I
dead.
killed them.
Whoops.
And I literally like went back to the room instead of like having to deal with all of their bullshit. Like
Yeah.
the item like from like their fetch quest that they would have had to do me again was just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool.
Was it the lady off the Groundbreaker?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. When you say it's like go back and this and that, it's like I think I have an
Yeah.
idea who he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't too many like full town wipes that I had. I like
Yeah, I wiped that one town where it was like the dueling factions or whatever.
Yep.
The one that was like more minor townery looking. I killed all of those people. And then I that big city planet place.
like Byzantine or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one
wealthy
with all,
people.
Yeah, the one with all the wealthy
Yeah,
people.
fuck
I fucking
yeah,
went
there-
in there guns a-blazing.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yep.
There was much flamethrower to be had in that town.
Nice. Nice.
Collect all their bell bearings.
Burn them all.
And then what else? Yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I have for my story. Does anybody have something about the personal story? Because I think maybe it might be worth talking about like the companion stories. If you did them.
Well, okay. The stories. Yeah, I didn't do the story. I am sad I missed out. That was the one thing I wanted to do was like collect all the characters. I didn't get all the characters.
Yeah,
I didn't either. I only got 3
I think
I got 3 as well.
I only did one.
characters.
One companion story. Yeah, I ended up having 4. Like by the end of it, but I really only used 2 for the most part, except for because the first one, Pavarti, she's the first one you get. I did her story, like getting her talking with like the engineer on the groundbreaker and whatnot.
I did that one as well.
And then the rest of it was just like main game focus because I had her, the vicar, Felix, like the one guy who's hanging outside of the ship.
Yeah, the one who pretty much begs to go on the ship with you.
Yeah. I brought him along anyway, and then
he's at the is Groundbreaker the base that's in
ship?
Space?
Yeah.
He's there. Once you do a few like a mission or 2 in there, he's just sitting
outside your ship, and you just talk to him, and he's like, "Can I come along?" And
he's like,
right,
"I'm a mechanic, and I've always wanted to work on a ship."
Yeah, and then
like, are you just the male version of Pavarti?
Yeah, they all mechanics. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then there was
Vicar's not. Vicar's a very interesting character. I did his.
Who are you talking about?
Talking about Felix.
Talking about Felix.
Felix,
okay.
yeah. And
Was
then
that robot on the ship a character?
Yes.
I thought
Sam.
so.
Yeah, I
didn't
did
unlock
it.
him?
I didn't get him.
I kept walking by him. I was like, you can probably unlock him somehow.
I didn't walk around the ship,
hilarious.
and it only it showed up in my end game credits of like, and then there was the robot that they wanted to bring for mechanical and like medical repair stuff, but he was just left sitting in the back of the ship. I'm like, fuck, I missed a robot companion.
You guys got the guide too, right? The chick.
Yeah, Nyoka,
Nyoka or whatever.
Nyoka, Nyoka, yeah.
From Devil's Peak,
yeah.
The
I
alcoholic.
think that one. Yeah.
Wait, so I think I might have gotten them all. Hold on.
Yeah, she was. It was her and Felix is like my main 2, but I did not explore any of the other companion missions because I was just more focused on just getting.
It was her and Vicar were my duo.
It was her
Nyoka?
and Felix for me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so I was all about Pavarti and Vicar until I met Nyoka, and I was like, "All right, you're coming with me."
Yeah.
And Pavarti, you stay on the ship because I already did your companion mission, so like you're good.
Yeah.
You're in love with that lady engineer from Groundbreaker. That's fantastic for you. And
that was a different.
That was
an
an
interesting.
interesting. That was a side quest.
Yeah, there was. It was literally.
That's literally what. Yeah, that's literally. That's pretty much leads you to the companion quest.
Yeah.
So did anyone do Vicar Max's companion?
All I had was Nyoka, Pavarti, and Sam.
You missed Vicar on the first planet.
I brought him along, but I never took him out.
Oh God, his dialogue is just amazing.
I know you've gotten erect several times talking about him.
Just so
I'm surprised
awesome.
you didn't do his story.
Well, that was getting
to, like,
his
learn.
like magazines, right? Or like he was searching out.
It was books.
Books. Yeah.
He was looking for forbidden books.
I got a couple books. I didn't get all of them.
One is Playboy, the other's
like,
Hustler.
Botanical area that you like start getting hit books for. Or is that a different guy?
Yeah, no, you were like at least on that planet, like in the beginning. Yes, it was on that planet. I think
He asks you to get a book, and then once you give him the first book, he's like, "Oh, can I come with you?"
Yeah,
and then you can bring him along. So, after you get him like I think it's like 2 or 3 books, the third book, he's like, "I can't read this fucking thing. It's in French."
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I had that.
So then you take him to meet the guy, or you take him to meet a translator. Translator, he's like, "All right, so I lied to you. This guy isn't a translator. And when I was in prison," and you're like, "Well, wait, hold on. You were in prison?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, like I was a convict for like X amount of years. I learned a bunch of different like taboo skills and shit like that. And so basically, it's like his like redemption story is he's trying to like get payback for all the shit that happened in prison. That's like what Vicar's thing is, and he's like supposed to be like a man of the cloth, and when you first meet him, he really presents himself as like a priest, but he is not. He is very much not. And like
That's awesome.
so as you progress it's the only person that I really noticed it with. As you progress his companion quest or complete it, he really opens up that convict side into his dialogue. And like my quote was from him, and it's when you're talking to Phineas, and Phineas is like, oh yeah, well like this'll we can do this and this and this, and he's just like, that's it, there is no plan, because that's like what he talks about, like the plan is like their spiritual, like God's plan thing. And he's just like, that's it, there's no plan, it's just random chaos. And I was just like, hell yeah, Vicar, you get it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now come kill all these people with me.
I mean, you can find a lot of like interesting like side stories throughout the game itself, and I feel like that's where you can focus on the main, and you're only going to get so much, but like a lot of these like side things is where you start really get an idea of like the scope of like the planet or what happened in the past and whatnot. Like between those two factions, the one from Stellar Bay and Amber's something, the religious ones, like Graham, the leader of that, you find out that he actually fed information to these pirates that got like a whole like town village like massacred.
I'm glad I killed him then.
Yeah. No, and you find out it's like, okay, he's coming off as like, this holier than thou something else, but he turned out to be a real piece of shit, which is why it made it a lot easier to just throw a shotgun in his face and then give him no face by the end of it. But there's like other stories along kind of like that really kind of give this a little bit more depth of like what's been going on for so long, rather than just worrying about like Phineas's mission or like helping the corporation or whatever storyline you're really going for. And I think that's what I really got out of it. And you learn a lot about that by fucking random exploring and whatnot too, which I'll say for the gameplay portion. But that's where I can appreciate the portion of the game where it's not just, okay, here's like your main path. You might have like one or two off on the side to give you a little bit of like filler, but they really kind of do like add a lot of extra shit in. It's like, okay, this is pretty neat.
And they give you the keys. Like the only thing that you can't really do is you can't get past like Byzantine into the other areas unless you progress the story. But other than that, you can kind of like get to all the other planets by doing side quests also. And I really wish I would have done Nokiella.
Yeah, let's
Nyoka.
Let's actually what's her ad?
It's Nyoka.
Nyoka. Good enough.
Yeah, I really wish I would have done her more of her companion quest. I did like the first like 2 steps of it, and it sounds like very like sad, like her like whole group of like mercenary friends, and then they started dying and like being buried in different places, and trying to bring them all back to one central location so they can kind of be like buried as a family.
Yeah, and they
band of brothers.
It's like because like when you hit end game and they hit like all of your side companions and like their stories like throughout it. That was something where
Hers is
Pavarti stayed on board as an engineer, got to know like, at least in mine, like got to know the Ada, and then spent all her time with Ada. I think if we went back and kind of like developed a little bit more with like the engineer, that may have been a little bit different. But yeah, with Nyoka, it's like some say you can still hear her screaming and like the ripping of her bullets in the night because she just never got like her.
She never got over
her piece. Yeah, exactly. That's where I was like,
I was like, damn, that's my fault. Like I should have helped her more with that.
Yeah, I did appreciate since it's story topical. Like they kind of hit like all those like. Open-ended stuff's like, oh, what's happening with all these other characters? Like, what happens when this game ends? And then they start to go over
that
it.
was like really cool. Like the crazy part about like this game, as opposed to like a lot of games, right? Is like none of the story is really about yourself.
Yeah. I mean, you're part of the story,
You're
but
part of it, but it's not like about you or your character development.
Right. Well,
Most
yeah.
of the story is like you're a part of it, but like it's really like how everyone else is reacting to the things you do.
that's
and,
that's
like,
kind of the Fallout formula.
yeah.
You know, like your characteristics are put on you by the people around you more so than like you yourself
Right.
taking action. And
Yeah.
like there's no like written narrative for your character, and that's also like the silent protagonist thing.
yeah, choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
My stomach.
I know, I heard that. It's so angry.
So I just have like one more thing I want to throw in for story.
Sure.
And I meant to do it before I came tonight, and I just ran out of time and kind of forgot about it all at the same time. Was that like usually I like people speed run games, and it's like kind of a cheese or whatever, or it's just like, you know, not that interesting. But this one like really has me interested because like the speed run time is like 10 minutes,
That's insane.
and like trying to
What?
figure out in my head how it's possible with like the things that I did in the game or like who I interacted with, like all of that shit. I'm just like, but how? And like, so and I meant to watch it just out of curiosity because there's got to be like, kill this person, kill this person, kill this person. And
Yeah,
Game
it
over.
has to be something where it collapses in on it collapses the game in on itself. But I know like one of the first things that you can do in the game is it does give you the option to turn Phineas in like right away.
Oh yeah, that's
There-
right.
There's like
When you get locked in at the groundbreaker when you first get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, do you want to just want to turn
Maybe
him
it's
in?
that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah,
Have to take a look.
Awesome.
yeah.
All right, and then at least my question, since we're talking about story, and every main character in the story needs a name. What'd you name your people? What'd you name your person?
Oh, I named my character Blue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did. That
Yeah,
that was
that's right.
fucking terrifying.
I
Terrifying.
don't remember what I named my character, to be honest with you.
No, I'll upload that picture to the Discord.
You
Just-
should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Harry
was.
attempted to make his dog as a human.
I should just.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should I just do it live while we're reading?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Air. Incoming if you're on our Discord.
Yeah, and if you're
With
listening
no
to this
context.
now,
With
Yeah,
no context in the
Nobody
Discord.
respond.
Just-
Just nobody respond to it.
just-
let it sit there and marinate.
Yeah. Ostrich is going to be all over that. It's going to be like, what the hell is that?
yeah, it is. It's gonna be like, what?
In general chat.
Speaking of, it is a great time for us to plug our Discord.
Yes,
And the giveaway.
and the giveaway.
And the giveaway. We're running a giveaway. You can find that in the link in the description, and also on all of our social media channels.
Yep. Join the Discord. It's fun.
Join the Discord. We're having a blast in there. Like it is, we have a awesome cast of characters thus far, and there's been a lot of really fun conversations.
Yeah, and I named mine Jimothy.
Nice.
Timothy,
I
okay.
don't know why. I was gonna. Steve's too easy. What's a weird James? Jimothy.
I just went with like my standard character name in lots of things, which is just
Stinky poopy butt.
No, Aurelian.
Yeah, I don't
It's just
remember.
like a standard thing. I'm just like, whatever. I don't give a fuck.
I don't remember. Because, like, I don't remember. Like, I feel like you put it in at the beginning, and then other
You
than
did.
the stat
It's
sheet,
never addressed again.
And every
Yeah.
once in a while, your name pops up, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Either that, or you had to lie to be the Captain Crunch.
The first person to comment on it was just ostrich. Oh my god, I fucking called it.
Yeah.
Ostrich, you're the man.
Not an ostrich. Thank you, sir.
thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
I knew it.
You're gonna enjoy this moment a lot more right now when you're actually listening to it than you did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
all right. Well, let's put a couple stat points in and move into gameplay.
Gameplay.
I think the easiest place to start is, what did you guys, like, kind of main stat? Like, obviously, you could main stat several things, but like,
Yeah.
you're kind of, like,
Yeah.
probably, like, 3 main stats is really kind of what I ended up, at least. Like, I did long guns, I did the dialogue and persuasion, and then I did companions. which actually was fucking awesome in this game. Outside of what was the other game that we played recently where companions bit me in the fucking ass because you couldn't use companions. What game did we just play recently that had companions?
Final Fantasy VII.
No.
Yeah.
There was something we played recently where I was like, I'm going to spec companions, and then you couldn't use companions in boss fights or something. What was that?
Trying to hit. We might be past the pin list.
Are you talking Elden Ring because you can't summon your friends because you get invaded? Just kidding. Just kidding.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember.
It may come back to you.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't really go too much into companions, so I was also long guns, or at least like those types, long and then heavy. Actually, I put a good bit. Like once you hit level 50,
then you had to split.
Yeah, then because like each
the 3 I mentioned, I had 100.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it was it's like if you haven't played, it's like you have kind of like a general idea of like different ones. Different skills.
Like you said, long guns and heavies were in the same category. Where if you put a stat point, they went to both until 50, and then when you put a stat point in, you had to pick which one you wanted to put the point.
Yeah,
into.
after 50, you had as soon as one in that hit 50, then you had to start moving up from there. So yeah, I did like the long guns and whatnot. Dialogue was also heavy for me.
Yeah,
and then my third heavy section was for like hacking and lockpicking, but that's
yeah. I had that at like maybe 75 or 80 when I finished.
Yeah, mine was up there because I just like to steal shit. So
I had that one skill at the end with lockpicking where it was like, I think I actually got it in the beginning, which helped me level it up a lot. Which was the one where it didn't consume lockpicks.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing.
That was like the first one I unlocked because but that was from so much time in like Fallout 3 and New Vegas and whatnot. Is like I just want to be able, like, if there's something in front of me that says you can't open this unless you can do this, I'm like, I want to do that. I want to get in there. Give me the items.
Yeah. How about you guys?
I don't remember all of them. I just remember I went very opposite of what I usually did. I didn't put anything into melee or firearms or. I don't. There was like six trees
like,
in the beginning, right? Like
there's like intelligence, like traits, like lockpicking, hacking, things like that.
Yeah.
There's
then the engineering.
It was like it was melee and pistol, then longbow and heavy, or long gun and heavy. Then it was your dialogue, which was like your persuasion and
lie.
Lie.
That was one of them that I maxed
and
out.
intimidate.
Yeah, and intimidate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then it was your hacking, lockpicking. And then your companion, and was it like healing or something with it?
Yeah, the other one was like your engineering or your science.
Yeah.
So that way you had like the medical, and then there was like I don't know if it was engineering specifically called that, but so you could like upgrade like weapons, so you can do like tinkering and whatnot for your science. Yeah, I think it was science specifically.
Yeah.
I think that. And I just did opposite of what I would normally do.
Did we mention sneaking, like the stealth stuff too?
I think sneaking was also in with like hacking and lockpicking. I think that was
it.
I think so.
Yeah, some of them had 3 and some of them had 2.
Yeah, I think a lot of them had 3. Yeah, because I think there was like the melee. Melee was like one-handed, two-handed.
Oh, you're right.
And then the guns was handguns, long guns, heavy guns. Yeah, and then it's like the dialogue was like persuasion, lie, intimidate.
Yeah, okay.
And then just kind of trickle off.
I don't remember the exact, but I went for like a charisma build.
Mm-hmm.
So if that makes sense. So
dialogue and
persuasion,
that kind of stuff. That's where I sunk all my points.
I
didn't end up using any of it though, since you killed everybody, huh?
Well, early on in the game it helped.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't fail like a single dialogue check at all.
Yeah. There you go.
And like with the companion stuff, like it was them dishing a lot of the damage, I feel, because like the cooldown was like almost instantaneous.
For some of them, yeah.
Especially I had like the one where like I started unlocking the traits where you have like a 50% chance of eliminating the cooldown on your other one when you use one.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
stuff
You
like
use
that.
use the ability for one companion. It had a chance to revive.
Yeah,
another
so
one or whatever.
and the cooldown was already like 7 seconds or
Yeah.
something like that. Like
Yeah.
I had it maxed, so
Yeah.
it was like a companion charisma build. If that makes sense.
My favorite thing was to like give them like giant Gatling guns, just like
And that's
here,
what
go
I
at
did.
it. Yeah,
Especially
Yeah, that's what I did.
what's her name?
Pavardi.
No. The other chick when she
Nyoka?
screams when she
Nyoka?
starts like
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
throws down her bottle and is like, ah! It's just chain gun.
Yeah.
It just made so much sense.
Yeah, I did. I had Pavardi and Nyoka as my main kind of people, only because Sam, you couldn't actually put weapons on. Maybe if you did his story, like you could actually. Get
Yeah, you have
stuff.
to like
Oh,
find
the
different,
robot
you have to
dude,
find
yeah.
different modules for him.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not
Well, that's
a
his.
standard thing.
Well, that's like his side quests.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
like find different modules to make him like this giant combat mech, pretty much.
Gotcha.
He starts as just a cleaning robot.
Yeah,
He's a sanitation robot.
Yeah.
Am I? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
It was under your chin.
But yeah, he's just like a sanitation robot, which is hilarious because all of his quips are like just hilarious because he's like, "I'm cleaning," and he's just murdering people.
Oh, I would have loved that so much.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, so I had Pavardi and Nyoka, and I had like basically chain guns on both of them, but like one was like elemental and one was not.
yeah.
So that like it didn't use the same ammo type. Basically, was the
Yeah.
only reason behind that. And they were just fucking murking stuff. It was amazing.
Same thing. I just put heavy weapons in their hands, Nyoka and Felix, but still, it's just like, I want you to be able to do as much damage as you can. So I'd
Yeah.
like take their guns away, tinker them up, so it's just stupid amount of fucking I think by the end of it, like all of our like machine guns were doing like 1600 DPS,
Yeah.
like somewhere around there. So at least like, well, if I want to go looking all for, if I'm trying to look for like a scout or a sniper, it's like, you guys got it. You got it covered.
Yeah, I did mostly like handguns and the hacking, lockpicking stuff with like a minor in the persuasion and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I knew what I was doing when I started the game. I was like, all right, if I can't persuade somebody, like I'll just fucking kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
If-
yeah, fuck it.
If words won't work, bullets will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like when in Fallout 3 I was talking about like wasteland refunds.
Yeah.
Where I would go and buy a bunch of shit from somebody and then kill them and then take all the fucking gold back. Or
Exactly.
take all the fucking caps back.
Yeah, it's like picking up a prostitute in Grand Theft Auto. It's like, oh, cool, that was a fun scene. Get out of my car. Oh, you got hit by my car. Give me my money back.
Yeah. Oh, look, money popped out of your butt.
Yeah.
Just grab that. Let me just grab that real quick.
Exactly.
Nice.
Well, one thing that I thought was awesome too was like, you know how each of the companions have their like specialties,
Yeah.
like what they're really good at. Vicar Max was all about melee because when you and I got the inkling at first when I like got him to the crew. He was like I'm all right with a pistol, but like I used to play whatever their version
Toss
of
ball.
baseball. Yeah, toss ball.
Toss
Yeah.
He's like,
ball, yeah.
I was a toss ball champion. So I gave him like a baseball bat, and he literally the first time we went into combat, he ran over, hit someone, and was like, home run. Like it's just like, okay, this
right.
is awesome.
Found your niche.
Yeah. Like, so you're gonna keep that baseball bat, and I'm gonna find you better baseball bats.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a force hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, here you go. Here's a giant hammer. Swing away, buddy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun variety of weapons in there. It's like where you can
Yeah.
like, and the fact where you can do some of the mods to them to like switch the like elemental type.
Yeah, you can
Like-
switch damage type.
Yeah, it's
you can
like-
switch magazine, stocks, scopes, like barrels, like
Yeah.
regular weapons, and
And that was a game changer when I actually started realizing how to utilize the weapons to their potential. It's like
Yeah.
I was struggling for a little bit in the beginning once I started hitting like the Manta Queens and whatnot.
yeah,
I'm like, all right, I need to rethink this out. So I went back and I'm like, let me gain a couple levels. And then I hit a workbench, and then I actually got myself up high enough to be able to use Tinker. And once that comes up and you're able to like keep upping the damage for like your favorite guns, and once you start hitting the top tier,
Yeah.
it just gets stupid. Hence,
gross, yeah.
hence like the this 16 to 1800 damage DPS for like the heavy guns. I'm like, okay, I get it. It gets expensive, but you kill a lot of shit, sell a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You can kind of like keep it going a little bit.
I felt like a true like space cowboy because like I had like a plasma pistol.
Oh, okay.
And it just had like a red vial on top of it, and it was like pretty much your basic revolver outside of just this one like techie piece on it.
Yeah,
they were ridiculous.
And they were so fucking ridiculous. And like I had my handguns max and stuff. So like you're talking about like the 1600 to 1800 range. I was in that just one shot though. I was just like, pop, 1800 damage and just like blowing things away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, cool. I'm just walking around with a pistol, just like
Yeah.
just me and my pistol, you know?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I spec'd when I made my character. I spec'd into pistol and melee. Didn't really play too much of them, like
Yeah.
But like I found a couple of good pistols that I just like kept as a backup anyway. That like I would swap to and just be like, nope, like this is gonna just absolutely murk stuff. So like when I need to, I'll just be like, blop blop blop, drop like a mag into it and then swap over to my long gun or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it was devastating.
We'll get the party going with this first. And then,
Yeah.
it's like I'll take out a couple of the big guys, and then the rest of you're just fucking cannon fodder by this point.
Yeah.
The I feel like plasma worked on almost all of the creatures in the game. Like I feel like it didn't have a negative. Like I know like specifically like mechanical enemies had the weakness to electricity.
Yeah, they had fire resistance or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
they had fire resistance.
Yeah.
But like I feel like plasma, there wasn't anything that had resistances to it. I felt
Yeah.
like it was cheating because I like spec'd into it and I was just like, okay, and I turned that thing to a pile of ash. I turned that thing into a pile of ash.
Yeah. I just wish I used some of the like special secret weapons because
Yeah, the gold
got,
the gold weapons or whatever.
no, even like higher than that, where there was one like one of the things you can get was like a shrink ray. I never actually tried that out, but apparently
It didn't work very long.
no.
No, yeah. So I used it and it was like a 4-second like shrink.
So you had to like shrink it, quick switch, try to do what you can because there was that.
So I used that. So I used that on the Mantiqueens early because I got it pretty early.
Okay.
When I was having trouble with them, I was like, oh well, let me just try shrinking one and then work on the other one or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the only way to get it to work was to like shrink and then swap, but also slow time.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
then
makes
kind of
sense.
work on it a little bit.
Yeah, extend your like window
but
of
you had to be
usage.
so quick with it and like just like on it when you were like prepared. Like you couldn't like do it in battle. Like I had to enter battle that way.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Because then there was also there was the Goop Gun, which it's like any of the
I don't think I
special.
got that one.
Yeah, it was
I
one
didn't
in
mess with it at all.
that was it was like you find it in like one of the like random abandoned towns, like just when you're exploring throughout the map,
Yeah,
which was
filled with raiders or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so of course like, oh look, it's somewhere I can go that's not on like a direct quest path. I want to go there and see what's hiding because probably something.
Yeah.
And then I think there was some sort of melee weapon that was also where it was like it's basically like all in the blue text and whatnot. But if I wasn't trying to like go like hard to try to get to the ending for recording time, then that's at least I probably would have had some more time. But it's nothing's gonna necessarily stopping me from going back. But
There's still DLC.
yeah, there is.
There is a lot of
If you're that
DLC.
interested.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like waiting until they do like a Game of the Year edition, and
Just re-picking it up.
yeah, and just like all right, yeah, I'll pick it up for like $5, like on super sale or whatever, like
Right.
PlayStation sale, and just picking it up. It'd be fun to look at.
I'm gonna be that other guy.
Do it.
I got bored with the combat pretty quickly in this game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little repetitive, but I mean, it's what you expect from a game.
It's an
like
open
this.
world
But,
shooter.
but
They're all
it
the
was
same.
lacking like so. What made Fallout 3 better, in my opinion, is it had that. I didn't learn this until way late in Fallout 3, but that lock-on system.
The VATS,
VATS
So-
system.
Yeah, like it like lacked a system in this game. Like
Well,
it had the
it had the
companions.
time distortion.
Yeah, but I mean, fucking how many games have done that?
Yes, it's very
This
true.
guy over
Like
here
it's-
fucking strokes off Max Payne every other fucking week.
Max Payne is the shit though.
yeah, and Max Payne was like
Teasing.
one of the first games to like really do the bullet time well.
Hard time.
But I understand where you're coming from with that, because when Joe said it's like,
Or
it's
like-
like Fallout Space. And
Fear did it really well.
Yeah.
Didn't they have it in the robot shooter? Fuck.
The robot shooter.
Yeah, there's two of them. I forget.
Time Splitters?
No, but they.
Okay,
I think,
good, because I would really hope that you didn't forget that name.
I don't know. Fuck it.
Robot shooter.
Where you call in the robot from the sky.
Titanfall?
Titanfall. I think they had something like that in Titanfall too.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just been done, so it didn't wow me. Oh, we could slow down time. Yeah.
Robot shooter.
beep boop, beep boop, blast, blast, blast.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was like, what? Where you play as robots?
We do.
So it's mechs. It's
Yeah.
a little
It's
different.
that meme
Anyway.
where you're like, Mom, I want Titanfall, and you're like, Mom, we have Titanfall at home, and it's just like robot
Outer
shooter.
Worlds.
Yeah.
Armored Core.
No, so that's kind of like actually like what I was alluding to with the whole like the plasma gun doesn't have any resistances. So like I at no time really felt challenged by the game at all.
I could see that.
And like you have to directly compare it to Fallout, this game, because they're in the same they're in that same style.
Yeah, totally fair.
And
It's same people, like
Yeah.
almost. So like
yeah. You know, Fallout has something that this doesn't, and I can't quite figure out what it is, but like this game made me want to go back and play Fallout. Like in fact I even like bought New Vegas and downloaded it onto my PC and have been like tinkering around with it. I have to get the settings right because fucking anyway, it's an old game. It's one of those things that like it's hard to recognize it, like exactly what makes Fallout special and this not as special, if that makes sense. Like there's just a feeling that I get when I'm playing Fallout, and like mechanically the games are relatively the same. Like it's the same kind of concepts and ideas that are happening, and I just get a feel for Fallout, and I just didn't find that here. And that's even with me playing more into it. Now, I enjoyed the story and stuff when I was spending those 15 hours in the first third of the game, like really doing it. But like just playing the main mission, I felt the game in general was kind of like
Gotcha.
bland and easy to roll through, and like you get to a certain point, and I don't know if there's supposed to be like enemy scaling to you, but like maybe it's me going in at a low level into the end stuff and they're scaling down, because I didn't notice any scaling ever with the enemies.
Yeah, I never hit a wall.
Right, I never was
Especially
like,
with how
I can't
aggressively-
I can't go here because everything's just going to fucking murder me.
Right.
I never got that. In Fallout, there's like those trappings of like, oh, if you walk out into the wasteland, like
It's a fucking
you're-
death claws.
Yeah,
Fucking
a death
exactly.
claw or a super mutant's going to show up and like fuck your day.
Yeah.
And like I didn't get that here at all. So it was a weird kind of like, am I overpowered? Is the scaling thrown off because I'm lower level and I'm here instead of, back further? Were they expecting me to explore more? That kind of thing. Like I feel like just the pacing of the game is off.
Yeah,
somewhere.
I will say, at least just without going like heavy renegade and kind of getting into like some of upgrading weapons and like proper weapons. If you don't have the proper weapons when you're getting into some areas and whatnot, then it is where it's you can be overpowered pretty quickly. And that's where, at least as soon as I went back and reassessed what I was doing, from that point on, it was like, okay, now I can go through pretty much with no problems. So there is a little bit of that, but it doesn't scale with you as your guns go up. Because as soon as like I realized that, went back, kind of revamped how I was like using and upgrading weapons and whatnot, then it was just like it was walk in the park, where like a Mantiqueen would like destroy me, and I could hold my own for a little bit, but I would end up getting killed, and then rework it, come back, it's like she's fucking nothing, and then the rest of the game, it's nothing. It's not where there's like a certain area where it's like one is more difficult than the other until you get like end game, because then you just have a shit ton of people. But if you're well prepared for it, you're going to make it through.
One thing too that I noticed is that if you find a good set of armor that not necessarily the armor values, but the skills associated with the armor, like if it plays into your play style, you just end up wearing that armor until you find something that's like better in those.
Yeah,
like because you can kind of min max your character that way.
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't force you to go into just armor stat.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right. You can keep your intelligence bonus or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And I thought that was like interesting, but also I like, I don't know, like I like making my character look different all the time. Like I like equipping different armor and stuff like that. I felt no inclination to do that unless it had better stats in this, and it's just like, like sometimes I won't care if it's like the shittiest armor, but if my character looks cool and I'm like looking at my character the entire time, like fuck it.
It's like what Clark does in the mirror when he's jacking off. Yeah, look at that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
looks good.
It's funny because like they had like what I would call strictly cosmetic items in the game too.
They did.
Yeah.
Where it's
But,
like, here's
no
3
way to-
armor, but
You couldn't
looks-
restat it or add it as a a cosmetic slot.
Yeah. Here's an
or
eye
anything.
patch.
Yeah.
It has
like-
3 armor. It has no skill
You
bonuses.
get you get +5 to engineering. Okay, cool. How's that really gonna? Am I gonna carry this around the whole fucking time?
Yeah.
You know what would have been amazing is if you put on the eye patch and half your screen went like fuzzy.
Jesus Christ,
That would have been awesome.
So
That'd
the place that I noticed the most was like in Byzantine. If you're doing, I think it was in Pavardi's quest, like you have to get a dress for her to go out on a date or whatever.
Yeah.
And like in that like little studio or whatever, I just fucking murked the girl and stole all the items. And there was a ton of cosmetic items in there that were really cool. And I was like, cool, there's no reason to wear these at all.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
Other than be like, oh, this would look neat.
Yeah. And I was like, this is kind of a bummer. But yeah, as you were saying, like the scaling and stuff like that, I think what like kept me sort of on the renegade path was like the first time I did it, I was like, oh, that wasn't actually that bad to take on like 10 enemies at the same time.
Yeah, no.
Why would I stop
an entire
doing this?
town?
It's very manageable. Like the game is very manageable. I
Yeah.
feel like it other than like right when you walk in, but also too, I do need to preface like what I'm saying with like I played 15 hours of this game and I don't know what I subconsciously remember from that time that helped me with this playthrough. You know what I mean? Like just sometimes you're just like, oh yeah, like I remember this like worked really well. Like I remembered the plasma thing. Like that's something I picked up from the first game. I was like, oh, there seems to be nothing that has resistance to plasma. So this time I just set out and sought out a plasma weapon, and as soon as I got that, no more problems.
Yeah, I started the game with plasma melee, and it was just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
It was just literally like run and just hold melee.
oh, and
it
I
was
turned
just,
you
like,
to Ash. And I
mowing
turned you to
stuff
Ash.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the gameplay is like great. I don't think it's like terrible. I think it's just kind of like the median. Like I think it's just like it's decent for what it is. But there's definitely worse. But like Fallout does it better. Fallout has a better feel to it.
Yeah, I will have something else to add to that for the difference between this and Fallout, but for another segment. The only other last thing that I wanted to add for this is actually when you said like turning your enemy to ash. And this fits in gameplay and graphics a little bit. I had trouble finding the bodies of the enemies I've massacred.
Yeah.
So I could go loot them. I'm like in some of like the especially like if you're out in like the field environment,
Yeah.
and there's some of that tall grass, it gets a little tough. And then coming back to the companions and different stats and whatnot. It's like one of them had a plasma heavy like fucking Gatling
Machine
gun,
whatever, yeah.
and I don't know how many stuff I missed. And anybody who's been listening to the show for years knows I am a goddamn fucking loot whore. And if there's something that I know went down and I can't rummage through the body to get some bit cartridges or like another like 20 rounds of heavy ammo, I get annoyed at that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's like a slew of items that were just left out in the open because I couldn't fucking find where they actually went.
Take that, Steve.
Fuck. They got me, Harry.
That's your con for using plasma.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Kinda, but even not that, it's still, even if it was like a full,
sometimes it was rough.
a full body, I would get lucky to find like if I hit someone with like a headshot or like a body shot with like my like a super powerful like light assault rifle, I could find like an arm, and then I could go ahead and loot the body from just the arm rather than the whole body, which I do appreciate. That was still
they
a thing.
had that, which was cool, but they didn't do what a lot of other games do. Which
I always
was,
keep my pockets on my arms.
yeah, right. They didn't have area loot, which is pretty common in these types of games, where like if you find one enemy and there's like other enemies within 10 meters, like you can just loot them all at the same time.
That's not like a Fallout mechanic,
or
at least with
there
that.
Are
But
a lot
yeah,
of
there are
similar
some with
games.
that, or at least if you got close, maybe there's like a little indicator, be like, hey, there's shit here.
Yeah,
and that was the only thing. But I mean, I get it, but that's just one of my own little personal gripes with that. And
Another quick gripe. I wish they would have made the perk leveling on your companions unique. They were.
Oh yeah, they were so
That'd be
fucking
cool,
generic,
yeah.
except for like what there was 3, I think, that were unique.
on the right hand side where they had
the right hand side.
Yeah,
were
but they were
ones,
still
but they're-
fall into like the stat boost. They were all from the same category.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
Like one you could put in, like for one of them, it was like plus 10 to persuasion, and another one it was plus 10 to lie.
So they're just reskinned same character.
Kind of, yeah.
sort of. I mean, like because they still
the
did their own
characters were
skills.
different, but
Yeah,
in
but-
terms of combat, no, they were not different really at all. The specials and stuff, like honestly, I got to a point where I had them with like max armor. I'm pretty much walking around with 2 corporate mechs at this point, and they just have giant Gatling guns. I didn't even really ever bother messing with their specials. I was just like, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, I never did like any of the companion. I don't know what abilities they had. They were just behind me to lay
couldn't
some
tell you
gunfire
except
down.
for any of except for Nyoka's.
I had them basically stun locked all the time because I had them both with the hammers,
Yeah,
and their ability would do an AoE stun.
Yeah, and you're immune to damage through that whole cutscene too, which
Yeah.
is. Yet the other one is still dishing out damage while the cutscene of the other one, like it's a way of cheesing the game.
was
in
that
a
the
way.
hammers though, or was that the abilities?
Oh no, abilities when it cut to the other person and like Nyoka was like doing her scream and it was focusing on her, like you were immune to damage.
Yeah, and Vicar like it would still be dishing out damage on the side.
the other
So when you come
companions-
out of the animation, everybody's just drop dead.
I
Essentially,
mean that would happen anytime I got into a combat though.
Yeah.
Like I was just like literally, dude, it was like a fucking death squad. I had just a fucking death squad. It was brutal.
Yeah.
For anyone that got in my way.
Yeah, most things I was just like companion ability, like it was literally a stun lock. Like just stun them, do a shit ton of damage. Oh, they're out of stun them, and then like by the time that one's out, like the other one was back.
Yeah, that's exactly how I play.
like
So when I went to kill the rival corporation of Sanji, I made it's kind of like with your gripe. I made the mistake of having one of my companions have a grenade launcher. So I'm in a tiny ass room and everyone aggroes. I fired one shot and then all of a sudden just like grenade, and everything's exploding, and then it's literally just like there's like 3 feet in front of me, just feet, and then there's like some body parts, and like, oh, god damn it. I was like, fuck. So I'd like loot one, and then I'd find that other person's hand somewhere, and there's like, well, they're empty, what the fuck? And I was just like, I give up.
But you don't know whose hand's whose, so you're like, I gotta look at every one of these hands.
No,
now.
I gave up. I was like, fuck this. I found like literally the torso of Graham was sitting there, and his whoever the second in command was, they're just like literally laying there. I was like, I'm taking the loot off you. I'm taking the loot off you. Fuck all you other generics. I'm out.
Dead bodies everywhere.
And then I literally took Pavardi's grenade launcher away. I was like, you don't get this anymore.
That's funny. Anything else about gameplay?
No.
I covered all I can think of right now.
So this is kind of story, but I on Groundbreaker, did anyone talk to the Spacer's Choice guy that was in the moon helmet?
Yeah.
Did you do all of his dialogue where he's like, I'm scared, I'm trapped in here, like, and he gets like really like schizophrenic while he's in the helmet? Yeah, it gets really creepy.
I just remember running up to him with Felix in my party, and Felix is like, oh yeah, that's Joshua or whatever the fuck his name is. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, or just kind of went on and did his like corporate jargon
Spacer Choice thing.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, just what do you have to trade? I'm not getting into any more dialogue that I have to.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
He's just like he you start asking him questions, and he still does the Spacer's Choice thing, and then just like one of the prompts is like, are you okay in there? And it goes down this whole rabbit hole of just him being like, oh, like, I can't, like, they
Fantastic.
keep, I've been working like a 24-hour shift, and they just keep giving me stims. They just keep sending me stims that they won't let me leave. Like, it's fucking wild.
Jesus.
But I happened to be like talking to that NPC, and like my son walked into the room, saw it, and started screaming, and he was terrified of the Spacer's Choice Moon Man. And like,
That's
and
awesome.
like,
He should be.
You know,
It's a great bobblehead if they sold one. I'm just saying.
like,
It would be.
like I had a fever. I'm sitting there playing the game. It's like late at night, and like one of the loading screens came up that just had like the Spacer's Moon Man, and I was just like, you know what? That is kind of creepy. And then I got like,
It is.
I got like chills, and I was like, I don't like this.
I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I like walked into the kitchen, took my temperature. I'm like, oh fuck, 102. I was like, I'm freaking out.
Freaking help, man.
Man.
I'm trapped in here. They just keep giving me stims.
You're right. Yeah, like, I was just like, oh god.
I know what you were talking
And
about.
I'm like sitting there, like taking medicine. I'm like, I am the Moon Man. Spacer's Choice.
All right. All right. Well, let's set our load out and move into graphics.
Graphics.
It's opposite from Harry. He leaves his load in. Heyo.
I did not like the look of this game.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the art style?
Yeah,
Or like,
this hurt my eyes. It really did.
interesting.
Was it the clashing colors? There
yeah.
was a lot of clashing
Oh
colors.
yeah. That was part of it, but I think the art direction as well. I just like it had this like I've seen it before in games. It's like a little cartoony.
It's
like,
Fortnite.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Fortnite, but it's
It's not my favorite, and it did legitimately hurt my eyes, and it was hard to like. I don't know, see a lot of things in the environment and identify items like around like a lot. I swear I missed a ton of shit just walking by it, like, and it blends in. Just I don't know. Not a huge fan of the look of this game. Just all around.
This is where I'm going to bring up the part of where this is the big difference between this game and Fallout 3, and where I just can't put my finger on it. It's too vibrant. Because
And Fallout 3 was just too.
it was
I
very,
complained about it in that episode. It was just too many beige tones.
It was very beige, and don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't appreciate like a color palette to really bring it out, but it was just this one I found to be way too vibrant of colors. I can't find another word because that's just like the best way I can see it. It's like even as like if they still kind of kept like the same color scheme, but just toned it down a little bit, I'd be totally on board with that. But it's like from the very beginning, I'm like, this is just way in my face with like how bright it felt bright for what it was. And I tried to do really good on like, only select this option when you can barely see this image and whatnot. Because sometimes, like, for some games, I may go a little bit brighter if I know I'm going to get, like
Resident Evil. I'm
horror game, you crank that fucker up.
Scary poopy pants, we're bumping the brightness up. Something like this, I'm like,
I want to be able to see the dark glowing.
Yes.
If I squint really hard, I definitely can't see that image on the left.
Are there demon slug babies in this game?
Oh, God, no. But that's where it really kind of like put itself in its own category as compared to Fallout 3, where it is very opposite end of the spectrum. It's like this where you look at the landscape, there may be some hope, or it's like, what's going on around here? And it can be hard to see some enemies or pick out some items unless like you're really looking in, or you're like looking. Like a lot of times if I was like going into a new area, I try to get like the high ground, so at least I can look down, find the road to find like differentiate
like
the colors from the path, and be able to kind of like separate it a little bit more, rather than if you were on ground level trying to look through all that shit. Not so much.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with their color choices. Like there's a lot of clashing colors. It becomes hard to look at. Some of the planets were just like yuck. I liked the design of a lot of different things. Like I thought the ships looked cool. I thought the environments looked cool, but the color choices that they made were rough. Like
it's like sometimes they're like, let's make this planet look like an acid trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
100%.
And it's like overpowering, and you're like, okay, I get that you're trying to make it look like space or a different planet, but like, I don't need grass to be purple.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like a neon purple.
It's fine. I don't.
Neon purple.
You know
on,
what I mean, though.
With
Like,
on paint on orange.
Yeah, like neon purple on like orange rocks on maroon dirt. It's like, fuck, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like the towns. Totally cool with the towns.
No.
Even like the abandoned
Too much going
ones.
on in the towns. That was even worse than like out in the field for me.
Oh, okay.
It was just too much. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's choose like a different hue in your colors, bump up several points in my book. As it stands, it's like it was a bit much.
Yeah, I think they just went overboard. They were like, let's do, like, you ever start like a drawing or something like that, and you're like, I'll add a little bit of this, and then you don't know when to like.
I ruined it.
You're like,
I've done that many times.
You don't know when to stop adding things.
Yeah, that's not a happy accident. You just fucked
You're
up.
not supposed to use all 64 crayons.
do you know how many times I've been sitting there like making like a disc die, and I'm just like adding colors, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, and then like one color bleeds into another, and I'm like, I fucking ruined the whole goddamn thing. It's like, fuck.
Well, yeah, they got to that point, and then they added another.
Yes, yeah,
color.
they were like, we can fix it, and you can never fix it.
Another one.
They didn't have that voice of reason
Another
as
one.
they were doing it.
We should scrap this and maybe do something different.
Yeah.
Another one.
My initial thing was like, when they were in space and there was the vibrant colors and stuff, I was like, okay, yeah, this is like really cool. And then I get down to the planet and my eyes are bleeding. I'm just like, fuck. Like it's bad. It's bad when you
Okay, got it.
You can
Next
stop.
segment.
no, like when you're playing a game and the only eye relief you get is when you're in the like pitch black menu. It's just like their menus are just like black and brown. And even that is kind of it's kind of a contrast.
Either that or the coal planet. That was a breath of fresh air because it was just dark.
Yeah.
It's like you had like the force field around it, and there was that giant terraformer in the middle, and you could find like a couple like mega creatures. I think there was like a mega primal and another thing in there. But when I got there, I'm like, oh, this is nice.
It's
I could,
different.
I could do
I want to
this.
stay here forever.
I'm going to explore this entire planet. Oh,
This
fuck.
dirt looks like dirt.
It's the smallest one out of the whole galaxy.
Yeah.
Back.
Yeah, it takes like a minute to walk across.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I know it's out of category, but while you mentioned the menu, I did want to say my 2 cents on that. I had anxiety going into the menu.
It's not good. The
I thought there
menu's
was
not
a
good.
lot going on, and I
there
got
was.
lost in it a lot. So I don't know if anybody else felt that.
I kept hitting the
Yeah, I
wrong
would fuck
R.
up like the. Yeah, I did that too.
I want to go here. Fuck, wrong one. Let me go back. Let me hit this again. Go
Okay,
here.
cool. Wasn't just me.
No, you weren't the only
Yeah.
So
one.
I didn't want to spend a lot of time on it. I needed to say
That's
that.
fine. Yeah, bring it back for our
And it never-
retrospective on gameplay. It's like that inventory and just like that option menu was a pain in the dick.
Yep.
I think I have that same problem with every game that does that whole like. No, we're gonna have you cycle menus with R1 and L1, and then sub menus with L2
Yes,
and R2.
yes,
Yeah,
that's it's a
every-
real problem.
Every game that does that, I'm like, ah, fuck. Like,
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, that's a nightmare. They need to
Yeah.
get away from doing
yeah,
that.
games
Yeah.
need to stop doing that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that. All right.
Brutal.
Thanks for
No,
pointing that out.
note
here.
to the
Yeah.
gaming industry.
Yeah,
Stop.
exactly.
Stop doing this. Yeah, please, for the love of
Show
God.
up in your studio with a water bottle. Tss, tss. No,
Yeah,
you do not do that.
So the water bottle's filled with piss.
Yeah, piss bottle.
Take that.
I got a couple in my car. What? Graphics?
I'm good on graphics.
Yeah, I'm good on graphics.
I wanted to wrap out graphics with the menu talk.
Yeah.
Gameplay menu talk. and the
Gameplay
other
menu
graphics.
piss
Yeah.
it
bottles.
is
Got it.
visually confusing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, there we go. Yeah.
Character models seemed okay. Nothing to be like, oh my god, look at that, but not like that looks like complete garbage. You know, the
mouth movement wasn't terrible. It was acceptable.
there you go. That's like it was acceptable.
Yeah, I've seen way worse games as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a theme where we're all just kind of like, yeah, this was all right
What's that?
for a lot of the aspects of this.
Wait
where
for-
we're just like, this.
Wait
was-
for the
this was-
score.
This was all right.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the median, you know? Like it's just
you
like
guys seem to be hyping it up on the story and the gameplay.
Well, maybe
Yeah,
that's because of the story and the gameplay, and we all have different stories and gameplays.
I was not hyping up the game.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys sounded like you were. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we also
I
played
was talking
more
about
than,
how I ran through the game with like one pistol that I found early on.
and you also completed the game in 6 missions.
Yeah. I don't know. Just,
Okay. To each their own.
Sure.
That's why we review it with 4 different opinions.
God.
Is that what we're doing? Shit.
We might be onto something.
You might be on this. Oh my god.
Hey, guys, we should start a
my God.
podcast.
You guys should subscribe because we are changing the game.
No, really, we're going to review an entirely different game from here on out. Welcome
every episode?
Yeah.
A different
Every
one?
episode, different game.
God damn it.
Welcome to Diablo 3.
Oh, I thought we were just changing this game. I was gonna say let's get it. Initial impressions. Outer Wilds.
Outer
That's
Fuck,
a
I
real
didn't
game that
play it.
came out at the same time as this game. That's not confusing at all.
Yeah.
Wait,
one
what?
of them is highly critical acclaimed.
Okay.
It's not this one.
Okay.
This one
We
has
don't-
pretty good reviews too.
all right.
It does.
You don't-
It has some good reviews.
All right. We need to bring it back.
I've been trying to think of a segue to sound the whole time. Don't worry.
there was a game called
Let's
Outer
fart into a
Wilds
cup
that
and
It
came
came out
out
the same month as this game.
That is fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Completely different game though. Like a
Oh yeah,
completely different
totally.
style. Of
I
game.
have that one too, by the way. Just saying.
It's Turok.
It's not.
That's why I don't know if you remember this, Joe, but when you pitched this game, I was like, "Do you mean Outer Wilds?" Because I was really hoping you meant Outer Wilds. I was like, "That game looks fucking wild, and I want to play it."
All right, let's smoke on some purple grass and move into audio.
Audio.
I would love to smoke on some purple grass. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I wish my mind could handle smoking purple grass right now.
Oh man.
I hope you leave all that in. Like all the, the suggestions
you
for
need
audio.
to. That's like perfect.
Here's 3 minutes on trying to figure out a fucking segue.
No, I'll cut that part out and just throw it into the Discord.
There you go.
Oh yeah, Discord exclusive. There we go.
Boner content.
Your episode.
Boner episode.
Yeah. Welcome to my OnlyFans.
Fucking rock soft.
And it's orange. I spray on tan my dick.
With purple pubes and maroon balls.
I was gonna say there's still brown shit on it. Because these fucking butts.
Every time you see Steve's dick, you get a headache.
For different reasons.
So I thought that
It's shaped like a cudgel. Real thin and pointy at the base, and just a doorknob at the end. Shillelagh!
Shillelagh! Old Shillelagh Dick. That was my name in high school. Sound was okay.
yeah, I thought the sound was fun. I mean, like sometimes, like most games, I feel like when you have a companion that like has like that ongoing quip or whatever,
Like banter or something.
yeah, like it can get pretty annoying. I didn't actually get annoyed by any of the companions when I was playing this, as far as that goes.
And like the companions talking to each other. Like my two companions had a lot of dialogue. Like every time you're taking an elevator or something else, it's like they always seem to kind of have like a little back and forth, and then it's not like it's just like one-offs. Like it's actually like progressing conversation like over some time.
Yeah, they actually did a really cool thing with that too. And you mentioned the elevator thing, but like one specific thing that I remember and I appreciated was that the companions were having a conversation, and then I entered. I'm pretty sure it was an elevator. It might have been just a doorway. Either way, there was a loading screen, and they picked up at the previous sentence and started at the previous sentence and continued the same conversation.
Yeah.
After the loading screen. And I appreciated that. I was like, that's fucking cool. Because like I hate a lot of those games where it's like these guys are having a conversation and I go through the loading screen and then it's like boom and I'm like, well,
it just
happened?
stops or it's something like a totally different topic.
I think that's becoming standard practice in games.
I appreciate like when
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
happen.
No, I think it's a recent development. I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I think a lot of games I've been seeing that.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy VII did that as well.
Yeah.
With like the traveling, and I think they did it in that other game. Go ahead, continue.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
The one where I was saying where I leveled up all my companions and I couldn't use them. Oh, it was Horizon.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, I couldn't use companions or in anywhere where you actually needed companions in that game.
No, you couldn't.
Anyways,
I mean, like the main story dialogues, they were okay. To Harry's point, there was a lot of fucking dialogue, just a lot of it. I did find myself like speed reading through the subtitle, skip. Speed read through the subtitle, skip. I didn't have the time to sit there and listen to them expel the entire story, only to have another screen for more story, and then just have that over and over again. It's like, I'll read it. Let's go. Read it. Let's go. It's like every once in a while there were ones that you couldn't skip, or if I actually really like felt invested or like wanted to listen, it's like, all right, I'll let this play out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it just seemed like there was a lot, and some people really do like that. And in some of the games like Fallout, I read like a bunch of the stuff. Mm-hmm. I know it's not audio, but at least like in text and talking communications, like the messages, I just like opened it, skipped to the next one, just in case if there was information. I didn't sit and read that because the dialogue just felt overwhelming at some points.
Yeah.
And I just really wasn't ready to have that amount of time vested in it. The voice acting, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like this is, deserves a fucking Academy Award or anything.
right.
Everyone kind of had corny voices. I feel like every single person, not one of them that was their natural voice. I feel like they were doing a character, like really like yucking it up.
Some yes, some no.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know if I
I
got
can't
the
really
same.
pull out like exact examples of either, but I know
Pavardi.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Pavardi and Vicar Max. Like that
Well,
dude-
Vicar Max definitely.
Yeah.
Like I could tell like right from the get go. I'm like, okay. It's like, yeah.
But like Pavardi has that like weird southern twang that seems super fake.
Well, could just be mild accent.
No, it wasn't. That's the thing. I don't think it was mild. I don't think it was subtle.
Okay. Yeah.
But-
I mean, yeah. At least that's. I'm not mad at the voice acting, and then
Yeah.
it's just like gun sounds, people dying. That just kind of seems like, par for the course.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that like we play a lot of these games and I just like the dialogue doesn't bother me much, and I think I'm like starting to understand it, and it's kind of a me thing, I guess. But like I don't really skip the dialogue, and like even when I try, it's like not really saving me any time because I'm just a slow reader. So like, what's the point as far as I'm concerned? As far as when I do it,
Gotcha.
I could see that though with it getting like cumbersome. Like, if I could like cut my time in half, sure. But I'm a slow reader. So
I guess
don't.
that's also like, are you selecting every single dialogue option with
I
every
usually
person?
do. I didn't in this game.
Gotcha.
Just because like I knew going into it how vast the side stuff was, and I was like, okay, where do I want to kind of allocate my time a little bit?
Need to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna not read every single dialogue option on the story side, and I'm gonna do more stuff on the side, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it wasn't because I didn't like the dialogue.
I just looked it up. Pavardi is voiced by Ashley Birch,
That's hilarious.
who is also the voice of Aloy.
Right.
And that's Aloy's her natural voice. So yeah, Pavardi is like a completely made up accent.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Ashley Birch has a bit of a range of different voices.
Yeah, I'm just
and
saying.
whatnot.
I'm just saying, like her accent was like super corny in this.
You know what? I didn't hate the voice acting in this game. My only issue was how long-winded everybody's dialogue options were. So setting that aside, that was my impatience that was giving me a hard time. It wasn't the voice acting that I had a real issue with. I be curious to know like how many hours of voice acting they had in this game, because I feel like it's got to be close to one of those games. What was that one game that we reviewed that like held the title of like most recorded hours of voice acting? I feel like it's been in the past couple of years that we reviewed a game that was just
Is
so
this something
heavy.
like Life is Strange or something like that?
No.
I can't remember what game it was, but I feel like this game could possibly challenge that with how many hours of voice acting that they might have in the game. Just because how many characters I ran into, how many of them had full options to like choose and just different trees and
Yeah,
just,
and there wasn't like if you had dialogue options to choose, they were voice acted.
yeah.
Like there's a lot of games where they just phone that in, where like they're like some offshoot character or like some really small side quest where they're just like, we'll just give you the text.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was Mass Effect. One of the Mass Effect games. I think like maybe one of the last ones had the most hours of like recorded dialogue or something like that.
It may be up there. I just quick looked up. and
Yeah, it's actually Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Nah,
That makes sense.
I wouldn't have said that though.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, but that is the world record holder.
Okay.
has
That game is
over
ridiculous.
370,000 lines of dialogue.
in Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah.
That's insane. That is fucking insane.
The story's so good.
I'm not into the Star Wars universe though.
It's
Me
yeah.
neither. It's okay.
It's not it.
Get it?
No.
Yep.
It's too much.
But anyway.
pod racing.
Sound. Anything else for sound? Music. I'll
I
be
thought it
honest
was
with
okay.
you. I beat it like a month ago, and I was like, oh, fuck, I should probably like listen to a soundtrack or something because I don't remember it, which maybe tells you enough.
So the music in the game, it was kind of like, I felt like it skipped a lot. Like when it was like when something was loading, I felt like the music skipped, and usually that's like the one thing that like stays consistent.
What do you mean, like skipped? Like Like a track was playing and maybe it didn't stop playing on the loading screen and just continued playing, but you didn't hear it. And then when it loaded, it like
it's like they didn't hit the anti-shock button on the CD player.
Yeah,
someone smacked the Walkman.
And you hit a bump on the bus.
No one knows what the fuck that is.
I know.
Anymore.
That's why it's
wild.
great.
it's so great.
But actually, kind of like
And it eats your fucking AA batteries like nobody's business.
but yeah, it was like it was kind of like that. Like it was just like I felt like it was kind of choppy at points.
Interesting.
I did play this on my PS4. I did not play this on my PS5.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't really run into that on the PS5.
Couldn't install it on my PS4. I tried. I had issues.
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, you just have issues anyway.
Yeah, I played on PC.
Good.
Yeah, I really have nothing to say about the music.
Yeah, like I said, I don't remember
it.
any of it. Well, let's choose to save our fellow comrades on the hope, or not, but preemptively make a decision and final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
All right, Steve, final thoughts.
I will say, Joe, you were not wrong in your description of this game to me. I liked the as much as I did gripe about like the colors. I did like there were so many different worlds to explore and different areas for it, which really led into me loving these type of games. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do feel like there were some things that I was expecting and didn't necessarily get out of it, but that's also because I just compared this game to Fallout 3 the entire fucking time, and they're two different games. So I need to be honest with myself about that. I did have fun though. You know, it took a little getting into, and once I really started to hit a stride, I'm like, now I want to do fucking everything in this game. And it's like, oh, there's some DLCs. There's a couple planets that I can't get to right now because they're probably DLC.
Yeah, they are DLC.
I want to go ahead and check that out at some point because I do feel like this is, this type of game is right up my alley, and I wasn't disappointed.
Out of curiosity, how much like playtime, if you remember, did you have when you finished it today?
I probably put in maybe like 20, 25 hours.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually like not like a whole lot for what it could be. Maybe 25 to 30. But I definitely feel like I did not put in as much playtime as I normally would if I was leisurely playing this game. Which is my own fault, but things get busy sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Clark, final impressions?
Final impressions.
Final impressions.
You fucker.
I definitely wouldn't say that this is like a bad game by any means. It definitely has its merit. And I think that there's some fun to be had with the story and some aspects of the gameplay. If you're really into like lots of dialogue, this game's for you. If you're really into just like feeling like a space badass, this is also a very easy game to make you, to like give you that rush.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's a harder difficulty too to actually give you some challenge. You know,
There's one where you can't save.
right? Yeah. So like that one would be fucking wild. So like, yeah. So all in all, I don't think it's a terrible game. I also don't think it's a world beater, but I do think it's unique in that it is Fallout in space, and there is not one of those yet.
There is now.
Fallout in space.
In space. I think Bethesda's actually working on a space.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah. But they're working on like a Fallout
They
in
announced
space.
it like 4 years ago, which means we got probably another 10.
Yeah.
Either way,
And then it's going to come out and put on like 17 different platforms for the next 30 years.
Yeah. Harry, final thoughts?
I'm really not into Fallout games like that. I gave Fallout 3 benefit of the doubt, and I was told that was like the peak of Fallout.
I wouldn't go that far, but okay.
No. Okay. All right.
There's a lot to be debated about Fallout between 3, 4, and New Vegas.
Either way, you were
Yeah,
saying
either
that.
way.
Anyway, they're not my cup of tea. Although I don't think this is a terrible game. It's just not my type of game.
Right.
Yeah. I don't. The graphics though was a serious hurdle for me to get
Yeah.
over though. That was rough. It's really rough. Well, other than that, yeah, just these type of games, just not my cup of tea. But I can see the value in them. I don't think this is a terrible game.
Horrible.
Cool.
What about you, Joe?
So I'm glad I pitched this. Like I said, it's been one of those things that's just been in the back of my head. So I'm glad I finally got to play through it. Is it the greatest game? No. Is it the worst game? No. But there is like kind of a certain charm to it. There was like the gameplay. Enjoyed it. I thought the companion part of it was cool. It was simple, which I appreciated, but also very valuable if used in certain ways. I wish more games would do things like that. So I appreciated that when I played it. But yeah, a lot to love, a lot to not love.
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah, I feel like going back to like the comparison with Mass Effect, I felt like they did companion abilities pretty good, where you can do like the magic if you want to teleport somebody up or something like, or switch to
The-
fire ammo.
Yeah, the
More
tech
more
or the-
in-depth companion abilities.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as good as Fallout, and it's not good as Mass Effect, and I thought it was a combination of the two. It's like if they had a baby, but it was like had a little Down syndrome or
a tail or something.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe an extra chromosome here and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's have a Down syndrome baby and give our scores.
Jesus Christ.
The score.
Go ahead, Clark.
Okay. I think this is a game that's like worth playing. I would get it on sale though. I don't think paying full price for this game is worth it. Wait to the bundle where you can get everything for cheap. Cheap.
That's fair. Steve?
I would give this. I give it a B. I think it's a fun play. I had some issues with it, but that doesn't outweigh all the positive feelings and fun I had with this. But go buy Fallout instead.
Harry?
I'll give it a 5.5. That's going to tie with Majora's Mask.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't do a lot of 5.5s.
No, not a whole lot. All right. And Joe.
So I'm going to give this game a 72. I mostly enjoyed it.
Then in 2 weeks we have our PC game roundup retrospective.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do the PC. yet.
PC.
Yeah, if you loved our handheld roundtable, this one's going to get real interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to span all ages of us playing video games on the PC.
Oh, we
Yeah.
doing a roundtable for that one? Like we did
mean-
the last? I mean, we should. I mean, yeah, it's not like we
Yeah,
can really get
yeah,
into. Here's the
We can do a
history
top-
of the
I-
PC.
Right.
Don't tempt me.
No,
Yeah,
no.
go-
Just made
go
in
nuts.
1959.
Go for it. I don't give a fuck.
Once you
We're
get
doing
Joe,
top 5 lists for PC though, right?
I don't see why not. My honorable
Yeah.
mentions list, you're going to have to fucking deal with it. It's going to be like 80 games. No, I'm just kidding. It's
Yeah.
going to be long, though.
That's fine.
I got my
Yeah,
first
I mean,
computer in
we
like
can-
1993.
It's fine. We're only doing the series once, so we might as well
Yeah.
indulge.
going all the way back to MS DOS.
yeah,
and
dude.
I
Oregon Trail.
had a couple of those.
Yeah, man. We got a long time frame to dive into.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we do.
Ah, number muncher.
Oh,
Rug
man.
muncher. Oh,
And-
that's different.
And what game are we reviewing next?
Well, let's
You'll
announce
find
the game.
You'll find
after
that
the
out
numbers.
in 2
Yeah.
weeks when
That's
you
how we've
listen
been doing
to
it.
our PC
Oh, okay.
review.
Perspective. We're not going to just. Here's our entire slate coming up.
Okay, fair
You're,
enough.
you're gonna like the way we play. I guarantee it. On that note,
Steve's Warehouse.
yeah, Steve's Warehouse. It's full of cum. I love you guys.
Stay safe.
Stay lovely.
Stay sexy.
It's
Stay com-
basically just a semen
Stay comfy.
water tower.
Stay sticky.
Sticky. Ew.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on social media and all streaming platforms at Superfun Podcast for more episodes. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend about us and consider becoming a Patreon member for more exclusive content.